Taylor Ward back with us, Baseball America. Thanks for coming back on. I'll let you pick up. What were your impressions of Tim Tebow from the workout that you attended yesterday?
I think expectations were really low when we all got there, and I think that he impressed to the extent of saying, hey, he's a lot better than we all thought he was, but he's still not that good. I think, he's a average minor league baseball player with a whole lot of pop, not that good a fielder, not that good an arm, which we all kind of had an idea based on how he threw a football. And I think that if he's going to end up somewhere, it's going to be more than a PR stint. I think that that's what he actually proved yesterday, is that if he's going to play baseball, it's not going to be a PR stint for the team. It's actually going to be someone that can help the farm system.
What were, from the workout that you saw, give me his, in your opinion, his biggest strength, biggest weaknesses from the Tebow workout?
Speed. He started off with the 60-yard dash, ran a 6.7. That's pretty, it's right around above average. And for a guy that was his size, he was 6'3", 255 pounds. A guy his size, definitely above average speed for him. I think that impressed him most. He went out and took the field, completely flawed with his arm, especially his fielding. I think that there were some scouts that even gave him a 30 grade as a defensive player on the 20 to 80 scale. And then he went and took BP. He was hitting bombs all over the field. The raw power was outstanding, and that was really his signature move. But he was very inconsistent in his swing in his lower half. He was pretty stiff, planted his front foot real stiff, had stiff hips. A lot of his swing was from the upper body. And then he took live BP against two former major leaguers, David Arzma and as well as Chad Smith. And he performed pretty well against AAA pitchers. I wouldn't say that he excelled, but these guys are former major leaguers, and they, obviously still have a lot of talent. And he was matching up reasonably well with them. I think David Arzma may have actually pitched himself into a job yesterday. But I think, like I said, Tim impressed to the extent of saying, hey, we're going to make this guy a baseball player because he is a baseball player, not because he's a PR stint.
Taylor, Brady Farkas here. So the consensus is, at least my thought based on reading what you wrote and following you on Twitter yesterday, is that Tim Tebow may never get to the majors, but he's certainly not a joke. Like, this certainly wasn't just Tim Tebow trying to get publicity or trying to stay relevant in the news. He does have some real talent here, even if it's not something that's going to put him on a 25-man roster someday.
Absolutely. No, this is a guy that will play professional baseball. And I believe that he will be signed. I think there's 5 to 6 teams that talked to him yesterday alone. I think that he will end up, based on what I heard without giving away exact information because of the scouts would like to remain anonymous, I do believe he will end up in the NL East within the next 2 weeks. They'll send him to Instructs or possibly the Arizona Fall League. They may allow him to play winter ball. And I believe that next year he will start somewhere in A-ball.
Wow.
Possibly high A, possibly low A. I think that that's where you start him, and I think that he will be able to perform to some extent. He may be a 250 hitter that hits 15 home runs in the minor leagues, but that's a pretty reasonable baseball player. Obviously, it takes so much skill to play baseball at that level, and then, major leaguers have the highest skill level. I don't believe he has the talent to do so. I believe he has the will. So I'm not going to rule it out entirely, but I'm going to say it's a very slim chance.
Taylor, so he's 29 years old. If you go into next season, he's going to turn 30 in that season. Okay, we've got the low A Houston Astros in our area, the Tri-City Valley Cats, full with, 18 to 23-year-olds. How does Tim Tebow compare to a player just starting out in the rungs of professional baseball? I would have to imagine the ceiling is lower than those guys, but that he has more skill right now. Is that fair to say? Like, he's better than your low A player right now, but he just doesn't have the ceiling?
I would agree to that. We have high A out here in California. I've seen low A ball, which is very similar to kind of D1 ball. It's like a D1 showcase almost. And those guys obviously have a lot of talent because they've been in baseball for 3 to 4 years already, either in college, some as professionals. They started in high school. I would say he's definitely a lot better than any rookie ball player right now. I think he's shown that he has a talent level and a somewhat extent of an experience level. He's been working out with Chad Muller, former major leaguer, and Chad's really been able to step up everything in his game to kind of catch him up from not playing baseball for a decade. The way that I've seen Lowe compared to what Tim Tebow showed yesterday, Tim Tebow is much stronger. I mean, that's just because of his physical specimen. And I think that he has a little bit more fluidity to his overall game than what a low-A baseball player is. High-A, I think, is that much of a notch above, to where I think he would have quite a bit of struggles against the pitchers in that league. I don't know how he'd fare just passing the eye test in that league, but he would definitely be right around the 250 hitter, in my opinion.
That's he was more impressive than I think anyone thought. We're talking with Taylor Ward, Baseball America writer, who was there for Tim Tebow's workout. So to wrap this up, Taylor, you're saying NL East team, right?
That's consensus, I believe, is NL East team. There was quite a few. There's 28 different teams represented there. I talked to about 10 roughly, and there was about 3 or 4 teams in the NL East that were all saying positive things, and the majority of other teams were not saying as positive of things.
So he could end up with the New York Mets.
He possibly could. It's one of the NL East teams.
There you go. Well, we'll see how it plays out. We thank you for waking up early on the West Coast to be on Big Board Sports, and we'll talk to you down the road, Taylor.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, guys.
Thank you, Taylor. Taylor Ward, Baseball America writer, who was there for the Tim Tebow workout, and the consensus is pretty impressive.